We're done with Democrats and Republicans. Welcome to America's new party.
Free Palestine!
What the hell does that have to do with... Why'd you hit me? Today, we officially launch a new political party. So who's in charge? Obviously, me.
I'm in charge, you idiots!
What was that for?
Oh, you idiots.
We're done with Democrats.
What's up, everybody? I thought this was funny. You guys would like to see it. What's up, everybody? So happy everybody's here tonight, this great Saturday evening. So happy to see everybody. We got Steve Hilliard. What's up? Kelly J. Good to see you. Shadow Wings. How you doing? Lisa Day's here. None of your business. And Shadow Wings is also on Twitch. Good to see you on both places. What the F is here too. Regine Reynolds. Good to see you. Meme of the day. Jake Lang is on a mission to be. Oh God. I hope not. I hope not. I saw that we're going to talk. He got locked up today. We're going to talk about that. He was in Minneapolis. What's up, Jay Schwartz? Good to see you. Good to see America First. Dan, nice to see you. Chattel, Miss Gatlin, none of your business. Up on the horizon. That's right. It was 104 in South Texas today. 110 heatings. Wow, well, say cool. Say cool. Finch, what's up? Good to see you. Jonathan, Marcus, what's up? Good to see you too. So happy everybody made it here tonight. Anybody else here? Morning Doom, good to see you. Trooper, what's up? So hey, Hamburger Helper, what's up? Good to see you. I spent like 4.5, 5 hours today trying to get call-in software to work, to get a phone number to work for people to call in. I think I got it fixed. I think I got it to where it will work. So what's up, Iowa? Backyard Cams, great to see you. Hugh Ed Wass, what's up? Good to see you. Yes, happy to see you too. So, and I was trying to figure out what the best way to do it would be. So I think, I mean, maybe we'll see if this works. Maybe we'll do it like this. We'll do the normal goal of, for every $100 that comes in, we'll add an extra hour to the show. And then if we actually get to 2 additional hours, so if we get to a total of $200, we'll do a call-in segment where people can call in and have a conversation and talk about stuff or whatever. See where it goes. I don't know. I don't know if that's good or not. I don't know. I didn't know how else to really do it. I didn't want to just do it right away and just have like the whole show be people calling in or whatever. So I don't know. What's up, Woodtick Mike? Good to see you. Hey, what's up, Mustang? Over here too. Great. Yeah, howdy. So yeah, Brian Ogden goes, hey, let's go with 10. Well, thank you, Brian. Wow, that sounded loud to me. Is that loud to you guys? Okay, so right there, that means we are now just 90 away from adding a first additional hour and just 40 away from Bellavision. And on our way to getting to a call-in show, I guess. So let's do this real quick. Like, we'll go over here. We'll do this. Pull this up. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So we'll share this tab. Pull this out. Thank you so much. Auction off airtime. I don't know about auctioning off airtime. I just don't know. Like, I didn't want to do like just say like, oh, hey, we'll just activate it, but we needed to do something. I don't know. We'll see how it works. I don't know. It was loud. I turned it down a little. Is this better? Should have called Joe for help. Joe does not answer the phone on the Sabbath. So he was, it was Shabbat for him. So leftists are smashing Jake Lang's truck in Minneapolis outside of City Hall, resulting in people getting pepper sprayed. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Good to see you. So they're trying to lunge onto the truck bed to severely harm demonstrators. That is the point. Yeah. Well, yes. Thank you, Brian. So it's total bedlam. So this was going on. This is what happened in Minneapolis. I mean, this is what's ridiculous is the cops are basically letting people attack them and do all this stuff. And then we're going to get to it because they end up arresting people. FAFO is the greatest thing ever. Well, we'll see. This is like mostly peaceful. Yeah, it looks mostly peaceful. This is just Jake Lang went to protest against some kind of Islam stuff. There was some kind of protest for Christianity. And so then he got attacked by a bunch of the anti-ICE people, the Islamists and everything. And then he got arrested.
You, Jake!
No, this is not Dearborn. This is Minneapolis. Minnesota's gone, and people wonder why I gave up voting. It is a mess. Well, see, there's got to be. I think there might be a problem with. There might be a civil rights issue with the cops going and arresting Jake Lang and these people who were attacked. These people got attacked. They got arrested and charged with causing a riot. So them just being there. So being there and being Christian causes a riot. So I guess that's how they're going to do this is they're just going to say you can't be a Christian because the Muslims will go crazy and attack you. I guess that's where we're at. Yeah. Sorry, Nathan. Yeah. So, so this is what they were doing, going after Jake Lang. All right. They attack a Christian and Christian gets arrested. Sounds about right for the Concord. Yep. Minneapolis have just arrested Jake Lang and the participants in a protest. They tracked down his vehicle and pulled him over. This isn't the same video. I don't think. Hold on. I don't think this is the same video. I normally have the problem. I normally have the problem with my voice being with the videos being a lot less loud than my voice. So yeah, so we did see this video. Where's the video? I saw a video of him being arrested. There's a guy jumping on the car. Oh, so that's it. So they're saying he got arrested. Minneapolis Police Department released a statement announcing they arrested Jake Lang and his supporters for traveling with him for a probable cause riot. Lang organized a free speech rally in front of City Hall. Rioters assaulted him and smashed up his vehicle. So this is what they're saying. Why is this like this? Why? Anyway, so at 11:50 a.m., far-right extremists Jake Lang arrived near the Minneapolis City Hall with other people in two vehicles. Both vehicles drove onto the sidewalk toward a crowd of people. Well, they were getting attacked and like, yeah. I'm sorry. I tried. I turned it down, but I don't understand why it doesn't. You would think if I have the level set the right way that it would be the correct thing, but it doesn't work that way. I guess I don't know. So all occupants, including Jake Lang, were arrested. They were tracked down by the state patrol, and additional arrests occurred near City Hall. Updates will be responsible. So you can see his car's all smashed up. There they are. They're going to tow his car away and do all this stuff. Like, this is ridiculous. Yeah, far-right extremists. Yeah. Yeah, that's what happened to David Wood and some other Christians previously. They were being stoned and arrested in Michigan, and he grew up, sued Dearborn, and got paid. Yeah, only two vehicles. Crazy. It is. It's crazy. It's completely crazy. It really is. Completely crazy. So, yeah, so anyway, yeah. There was one other thing I wanted to get to before we get to the main story of the evening. Oh, this. So if you guys live in New York, you might know about they had the congestion pricing. They blamed Jake Lang for the riot because it's his fault they got angry. Yeah, well, that's called a heckler's veto, and that's not allowed in the United States. It's not supposed to be. So we need the the federal government to step in and start going after these local localities that are violating people's rights to assemble and protest and stuff like that. Far-right extremist equals someone who would have voted for Bill Clinton. Yeah. So lawmakers in Albany, New York, are pushing to expand the congestion pricing beyond New York City. Assembly Bill AO 4230 and Senate Bill SO 4044 move New York closer to a statewide tax on mobility, charging drivers simply for traveling. It means a higher cost for drivers and computers, pressure to push people out of private vehicles, increased cost of living across the state. Your freedom of movement should not be taxed. Yeah, it does. It sounds like a job for Harmeet. It sure does. Do you support congestion pricing? Yeah. They want to tax statewide travel in New York. They want to expand it. This is crazy. This is crazy. Yeah. It is. It's crazy. So. All right. Let's get into the first story, the top story of the evening. It's right here. Jonathan Turley says, I previously discussed how James Telrico declared the Anthony trial as proof that the legal system was failing Black Americans. Hey, Miss Hacker, how you doing? Great to see you. So, a new judge obviously disagreed and rejected the anemic arguments made for a new trial. That's right. Judge denies Karmelo Anthony's bid for new trial. That socialism, it just gets worse and worse. Starts to look like Islamic slavery after a while. It sure does. Sure does. Ex-lawyers detailed dispute that kept him from testifying. Yeah, so.
Fox News alert. A judge in Texas has now ruled that 19-year-old Karmelo Anthony will not get a new trial after he was convicted of stabbing.
Does this sound loud enough, or does I got this turned up to 500? See, that's what I mean. Like sometimes the videos are really loud, sometimes they're not.
17-year-old Austin Metcalf to death back in June. Anthony was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Let's go now to Max Gordon for the latest developments. Max, this seems like big news. What do you have for us?
Hey there. Well, the new judge in this case, retired District Judge Michael Chitty, had until Monday to make a ruling, but it is now being reported that he has ruled before that deadline, denying a retrial in this case. Now, this comes after the original judge in Anthony's murder trial was removed from proceedings. That judge, Judge John Roach, said after the trial during a TV interview that the jury, quote, got it right when they delivered a guilty verdict, and there were questions about his impartiality. Anthony, now 19, was convicted in June of stabbing and killing 17-year-old Austin Metcalf during an altercation at a high school track meet in Frisco, Texas. A Collin County jury sentenced Anthony to 35 years in prison. At the center of this new trial hearing is a verbal agreement between Anthony's original defense team and prosecutors to keep certain character evidence about both sides from the jury. Now, at the time the agreement was made to keep from further inflaming the case, which was already boiling over with racial tensions and death threats. But during this retrial hearing, that evidence was being discussed, and that included allegations that Metcalf had used racial slurs in the past and bullied classmates. And it also included violent texts from Anthony, including one which read, "When I stab SB, I'm going to lick their blood off the blade." So some disturbing stuff right now, right there. But again, Anthony's motion for a retrial also argued that Anthony's Sixth Amendment right to a public trial was violated because of courtroom restrictions. But again, the defense's arguments clearly not enough to sway the judge. The judge, it's being reported, is denying that retrial. Joey?
Max Gordon, thanks for the update.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right. Tommy, this is a new development. I guess all week this week we've heard that there may be a new trial. They may push for a new trial because the first judge accused himself for things he said after the trial. But then with that comes this new evidence, I guess. I don't know if it can be used in a new trial, but it seems like it really does hurt the character of Anthony, who was kind of painted to be, a good kid that snapped.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there were reasons in this arrangement, this agreement, to keep this character evidence on both sides out of the original trial, or out, not to the extent that we have now with some of these text messages. But just for me as a layman, when I look at this body of evidence here, of character evidence about Karmelo Anthony, and you see not only the messages that he sent to his girlfriend, but the death threats and other things of that nature, talking about licking the blade.
Yeah.
That gives a whole lot of context. And I understand not wanting to have this character evidence introduced for a young man and then, of course, a deceased young man, because, of course, you don't want to bring that into the public sphere, and that's understandable. But there was so much discussion about race in this trial and how Anthony was backed into a corner and he acted in self-defense. And there were so many prominent people, including elected officials, who made that claim. This gives a lot more backstory, and I understand not wanting to bring it in, but it sheds a lot more light on exactly who he is and how this all went down, in my opinion.
Yeah, it turns out the kid was a dindu. You know, he didn't do nothing, but he had a lot of history. And that they try to say, oh, well, this guy, you know, this kid, Austin Metcalf, he said, you know, he used some words years ago, or he did something. Yes, another hero exposed. Yep. I'll hopefully become someone's girlfriend in prison. Well, we'll see. You know, we'll see.
Yeah.
David, welcome to the Big Weekend Show.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Glad to be here.
So I guess that is the question is, you know, all these people that have done so much to support him, they've protested for him. They've said that it was only because he was black that he was arrested, much less convicted. Do you think this would deter them at all, some of this evidence that they're talking about?
No, because they have the script already prepared. I mean, they know where they're going. Evidence doesn't mean much to a political agenda like the ones that they have. They talk about how he is a young man. 19 is very young, but guess what? He's got 2 years on Austin Metcalf. Metcalf was 17 when he was stabbed to death. I mean, he's got years now, 35 years. He'll probably get time off from that full sentence, but there's plenty of time for him to think more clearly about what he has done, more clearly about what he could do once he's let out, and perhaps there's some chance for retribution, or for retribution from the family, at least in terms of getting a justice for what happened to their son. But at the very least, this guy's going to stay in prison for a while. He's going to be off the streets. Clearly, his mind was just consumed by the evil thoughts of killing somebody in the worst possible ways. He's a sick person who needs time to think about what he's done. He's now got the time to do that.
Alicia, that's a good point that David makes. He didn't get...
Well, that is, he's got some time to think about it. Nathan, I didn't know anything about this. You're saying your sister was murdered? The investigators are slow rolling it because someone screwed up and they gave your brother-in-law's guns back early. You said your brother-in-law murdered your sister and that there was some kind of problem. They took his guns away and then they gave them back early. That is, man, that's horrible. That's horrible. My condolences. Wow. He has time to plan his next stabbing. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I don't know if you guys joined a little late. I know maybe I said it too early if people didn't see the beginning of this show. I spent a long time today working on a call-in to get phone calls come in on the show. And I didn't know how best way to do it. So basically, if you look at the description, you'll see it says, you know, like with the same as normal, if we hit 100, we'll add an extra hour. And if we actually make it to a second additional hour, we'll turn the phone lines on and take phone calls in and stuff like that. So it's up to you guys. Or, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the second hour of the show. If we hit the money, you know, the second hour right away or whatever, or early, I'll start taking some phone calls and stuff like that. Turn it on and take some phone calls. But just see if, I don't know if that's something you guys want to call in, want to talk, want to do stuff. I don't know. So we'll see.
Life in prison.
Right.
He didn't get the death penalty. He will get out, you know, in somewhere between his late 40s and 60s. So it's not like his entire life is going to be in prison. He's going to spend time in prison and then have a life after that, to whereas Austin Metcalf is no longer with us.
Yeah, exactly. And David, when you said this gives him time to think about what he did, I would hope that as a member of society, that someone who did this would do that. But you have to also remember, he's been treated in large part by a big part of the community there as the victim. He was the one who stabbed this young man who had his whole life ahead of him.
Right.
And yet protesters show up and they treat him like he was the one who was wrong. Despite all of the evidence, despite the people who came and took the stand and said, other teammates who said, he stabbed him. He wasn't defending himself, you know, but I mean, yeah, I hope that he does learn something from this, at least.
And perhaps also some of the politicians who are so quick to call this racism, perhaps they could learn a little something as well. I think James Tellerico
They're not gonna
recently,
learn.
made
I'm
comments,
sorry.
but
I just don't think I don't think they're going to get it. I
Hey,
mean, they
Roselle, how you
really
doing?
don't either.
No.
I mean, I think revelation from that quarter is unlikely. However, there is a possibility that that Karmelo Anthony will have time to think about it. I mean, there are these.
So yeah, judge denies a new trial. Texas judge denied Karmelo Anthony a new trial Saturday after his attorneys argued that courtroom restrictions and hearings held without Anthony present, and the handling of an unwritten agreement violated his rights. Dan says, I'll call in. Yeah. Grifters will show these same clips of blacks and rage about the racism. Well, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. You know, the only thing we could do is try to be fair and honest. And if people have a problem with it, then I don't know what to say. So retired Judge Michael Chitty, he said, your arguments are very shitty. And he said the decision leaves the murder conviction and the 35-year prison sentence in place. Yes. He said their arguments are briefs, irrelevant case law. The order did not detail his reasoning. Wow. The judge is white, so still, yeah, they'll say it's still racism. No, his name is Chitty, Chitty, and he said their arguments were shitty. Volume is awfully low. Are you serious? What the hell is going on? Why does it keep doing this to me and lowering my volume? It's Windows doing it. Ugh. I don't know why Windows keeps doing it, and I have to keep changing it back. It keeps dropping it to 88 from 100. If he was found guilty by an all-black jury, they would still say they were race traitors. Yeah. Volume is good. Okay. Sound normalization. Yeah, auto leveling. I have it shut off, though. That's the thing. I have it all shut off. It shouldn't be doing that. Dan says, we initially had less than a month to get out of the house because they were renting. Apparently, my sister had purchased some land she planned to move to when she retired. Wow. Your volume is fine. However, the last Fox News video you played was low. Oh, okay. Wow. A lot of stories coming in tonight. Yeah, Windows doesn't give a fuck. I know. Windows keeps doing it. I don't know why. I don't know why. Well, I've shut it off. It's not supposed to. Thank you for calling Chitty Walk. Please take our order. Yes, you get your Chitty Walk. We take out your order. The profile picture is telling. Set defaults. I have it, cash and carry. They're all set, and I have them set to where it's at, but it keeps changing it. And I even have it so that it's not supposed to do it. I have it set to not do it, and it does it constantly. So Collin County District Attorney said his office expected the decision remains confident in the case. We respect and expected the court's decision denying the motion for a new trial. The jury's guilty verdict stands, and we remain confident in the process. 10 minutes? 10 minutes? What happened? What do you mean? Every defendant has a right to an appeal. And we stand with the Metcalf family. Chitty heard 2 days of testimony in McKinney, Texas. Sid Harrow removed the judge, Roach, who was presiding. So Harrell found a reasonable outside observer could question whether Roach appeared impartial. At the center of the new trial hearing was an oral agreement between Anthony's original attorney and the prosecutors to keep damaging character evidence involving both sides from reaching the jury. Former lead defense attorney Mike Howard testified he understood the agreement allow Anthony to testify if he stayed focused on the confrontation under the tent. On the final day of trial, prosecutors told the defense the agreement would not apply if Anthony took the stand and the defense had opened the door to character evidence. Howard said the dispute led to a heated break in the proceedings and made Anthony unwilling to testify. Well, there was probably an automatic appeal performed following the original trial. It's almost universal. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Kofi? Under cross-examination, Howard acknowledged the lawyers never expressly agreed on whether a testifying defendant was covered by the agreement. He also said he could not say whether prosecutors acted in bad faith. No, the trial, his penalty stands, Rodney. They didn't grant him a new trial. They denied it. They denied the new trial. So, former defense attorney Toby Shook gave similar testimony, saying the original defense team understood the agreement to include Anthony's testimony about the confrontation. The position prosecutors caught Shook off guard because the defense always expected Anthony to take the stand in support of self-defense. Well, the defense also introduced a training presentation that lead prosecutor had used in continuing legal education on self-defense. One slide advised defendants' lawyers that the client probably needs to testify. Okay. During the break, the defense updated Anthony, explained that Roach said he could not enforce the unwritten agreement. That left Anthony unsure whether testifying would allow prosecutors to introduce character evidence the agreement was meant to keep out. Like, I don't know how would they get the character evidence in on the victim? Seems like that would have been a stretch. Werski disputed that the agreement was broken. He said the lawyers never discussed the details of what it would allow if Anthony testified, and that prosecutors remained willing to honor it. The state feared testimony from Anthony or his mother could inadvertently open the door to character evidence. Chitty also considered claims that courtroom access restrictions violated Anthony's Sixth Amendment right to a public trial. I mean, they can't let everybody in that wants to come in. That's not the way it works. So that's just not the way it works. Gateway Pundit says convicted murderer Karmelo Anthony's terrifying school records and more stunning texts are revealed for the first time, including, "I'm going to shoot the school up tomorrow." So he actually texted somebody he was going to shoot the school up. Mm-hmm. Carmelo's retrial bid goes off the rails as more shocking information comes to light. So such evidence included Anthony's school disciplinary records, which date back to when he was just 6 or 7 years old. So this kid had been a problem student since he was in first grade. His problems were so severe he was placed on a behavioral plan at the LSU psych department when he was just 10 years old. They knew, the parents knew all this. They knew all this. They knew all this. I cannot believe that they didn't just plead. They should have pled this out. What will ABL say about this? Who's ABL? I don't know who ABL is. I don't know. Tell me who it is. So he lived in Louisiana before moving to Dallas. There was an incident where Anthony punched another student despite being repeatedly asked to keep his hands to himself. This led Anthony to be placed on behavioral plan. Thoughts on that Ellie girl? Mukau Isaac. I don't know who that is. No clue who Ellie is. Anthony Brian Logan. Oh, I don't know. What's this now? Now I got another one. It says thoughts on Muslims. I don't want to be I don't want to be forced to convert or die. How's that? Is that a good thought? I think it's really sad how his family abandoned him right after the verdict came in. They didn't even show up for the sentencing phase. Shitty parents beget a shitty child. Yeah, I think the parents just were in for the money. You know, it's kind of what it seems like. So, oh, Anthony Brian Logan, an Anthony supporter. Yeah, I don't know who that guy is. I don't follow leftists really. Wow, we got 15 viewers on Twitch. That's crazy. He's a black conservative somehow supporting Karmelo. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. See, I don't know. I don't follow. They share the same name. Oh. So a note found in Anthony's cell phone, including a racist rant text, showed that Anthony hit a girl in the face. There seems to have been an obsession with fighting. One message, he said, the only person I'll shoot instead of fight. That's the only person I'll shoot instead of fight. Oh, my God. I'm going to shoot up to school tomorrow. That's what he said. Oh, my God. He said a lot of crazy things. What are my thoughts on the COVID vaccine? I don't think it was a vaccine. It was gene therapy. It was more of like a, it wasn't a vaccine. It was, something you would take to maybe reduce harm, but not like it didn't block or stop anything. It was rushed through. I think it's caused a lot more problems than they're willing to admit. I think in 10 years from now, there's probably going to be a bunch of people saying that people should be in prison over it. And I think Fauci should be in prison for many things, including the COVID vaccine and his work with AIDS, the AIDS stuff, and his work with the Tuskegee experiments. Yeah. He's a male version of Candace Owens. They were both always leftist grifters. Wow. It was a big experiment. Yeah, it was an experiment. I don't know. I never tried it. I never got the vaccine, no. Because it's not a vaccine. It was gene therapy. Wow, a bunch of people left. They didn't like those answers. It was a kill shot, yeah. What's the www? Is that a win or a, I don't know. So Cassandra McDonald reported that the prosecutor detailed how the convicted murderer had been reported for stalking his ex-girlfriend before he fatally stabbed. A W. Russell raid. Well, that's cool. I don't know. You took all the boosters? Well, I hope you survive and don't end up with something like that. Give your thoughts on Charlie Kirk. I don't think he should have been murdered. I don't think he, I don't know. It was very upsetting that he was murdered for just speaking his views. He was a young man who was putting his, out there trying to save people from the, the indoctrination of colleges and doing a lot of other stuff. So. Okay. Well, I can see Twitch is turning into a shithole. So I also didn't help the way they rolled it out, guaranteed a mutation. Yeah. So, yeah. So, all right. On to the next story here. We have the U.S. Postal Service publishes a rule to block mail-in ballots from states that don't provide voter lists. The rule aligns with the Trump executive order, but cannot take effect under an existing federal court injunction. Trooper says Fauci's execution should be aired on all networks and social media platforms that shut down the pure roads. Yes, I agree. He had a lousy security team and allowed line of sight from the roof. Yes. Twitch is successful. It seems like it. Seems like it. Let's see what this is.
Fox News chief legal correspondent, anchor of Fox News Sunday, Shannon Bream, breaks it all down for us tonight. Good evening, Shannon.
Good evening, Brett. So as we barrel to the end of a very contentious term, a split pair of decisions on executive power today, including one that expands the president's power to dismiss members of the administrative state he doesn't think align with his mission.
It gives a president the right to do what the president should have the right to do. And it's very interesting. It's a big ruling.
President Trump celebrating what he calls a, quote, big win at the Supreme Court this morning. The justices recognizing his authority to dismiss a member of the Federal Trade Commission. Chief Justice John Roberts writing for the majority, to discharge the duties of his trust, the president must have the assistance of officers he can trust. Neither Congress nor the courts may saddle him with those with whom he cannot work. Justice Sotomayor led the dissent against the decision. The result is a president who emerges with far greater power than ever before. It is a power, however, that neither the people, nor Congress, nor the Constitution bestowed upon him. The court did rein in the president's authority to dismiss Fed Board Governor Lisa Cook, at least in the way the president attempted to do it, via a letter posted on social media based on allegations of mortgage fraud that predate her appointment to the board. A majority of the justices finding that Cook deserved both notice and a chance to respond. Short of that, the majority wrote, to do so would allow the president to remove a member of the Federal Reserve at any time, for any reason, without any notice before and without any judicial check after. Cook celebrated the decision as a win for the Fed's independence, quote, free from political interference. The court did not say Cook cannot be dismissed, and the president is vowing to try again. The court also upheld a Mississippi law that allows the state to continue counting mail-in ballots after Election Day. Justice Barrett writing of federal law, the Election Day statutes say nothing about ballot receipts, and we cannot add to the words Congress chose. That decision, which will affect similar laws in more than half the states for the upcoming midterm elections, prompting the president to argue it's more crucial than ever that lawmakers pass the Save America Act, which currently sits at an impasse in the Senate. It is official now. 10 a.m. tomorrow, we will get the final decisions of this term on items like birthright citizenship and whether states can ban biologically born males from competing in women's sports leagues and on their teams. So listen, Brett, I got to tell you, some of the tensions here behind the scenes have spilled out into the public. I think everybody is ready for their summer break. We'll have those decisions for you tomorrow morning.
Big decisions tomorrow morning. Shannon Bream live outside the Supreme Court. Shannon, thank you.
Wow. So the United States Postal Service published a rule on Friday that will require states to provide lists of voters who received mail-in ballots to the agency. The United States Postal Service rule, first proposed on June 2nd, moves to align the agency with President Trump's March 31st executive order. Among other things, the agency was ordered that they mandate all states to plan to use the Postal Service to send in ballots, that they notify the agency 90 days before an election and send them a list of eligible voters the state plans on providing a mail-in ballot to. So any state that intends to receive mail-in ballots or absentee ballots from individual voters through the Postal Service must ensure that such individuals have been enrolled in the Postal Service for inclusion on the state's mail-in ballot. So this is talking about, like, they want a list of all the people that are going to send ballots to, probably that way they can check that against their known, like, citizenship lists. That way they can stop or refuse to deliver ballots to people that they know aren't citizens or that they suspect aren't citizens, stuff like that. So they want to have an absentee participation list. To be included on the list, a voter's state must submit the individual's name and address, including a uniquely serialized mail barcode. They want barcodes on there so that they could verify that the ballots are going to the people they say they're going to. So you kind of look like Tampon T. I think you mean Tampon Tim. Well, all right. Well, have a nice night, Moo Cow. Yes, no more 100 ballots sent to an empty parking lot. So the finalized rule, however, cannot go in effect until an outstanding injunction against the order from March gets addressed. U.S. District Judge Indira Talwani, who was nominated by Barack Obama, issued an initial preliminary injunction against the executive order and ruled that the two sections pertaining to the mail-in ballots were unconstitutional. But are they? I don't think so. We're going to have to see. In July, siding with the plaintiffs, the League of Women Voters of Massive Two Shits versus Trump, Talwani renewed the injunction and barred the Postal Service from enacting the rule. The rule, which the Postal Service will officially publish on August 26, will only take effect for the upcoming midterm election if the federal court lifts its injunction. Yeah, the League of Women Voters, commies. Yeah. So, in a filing opposing the renewal of the injunction, the Trump administration argued that judicial review was premature under the ripeness doctrine. So, the plaintiffs cannot demonstrate any harm from the proposed law until it takes effect. Plaintiffs cannot demonstrate they suffer any particularized injury from an ongoing policymaking deliberations within the executive branch. Said their concern with the action is about something that might happen in the future. It's not something that's, it's not harm that's currently going on. It's some supposed future harm. And technically, you don't have standing to sue about things that might happen in the future. You're only supposed to sue about things that you're actually being injured by right now. Motorcyclist says mail-in ballots should only apply to very specific circumstances. Well, yeah, I mean, pretty much you can get mail-in ballots in Florida for pretty much anybody can. You just have to ask for them. And you know what? They track them pretty well. They know who's getting them, and you can go to the website, like you get your ballot, and you can check your ballot, and you can make sure that it's where it's come to you, when it's accepted, when it's counted, and everything. And for whatever reason, Florida can count all their ballots within a couple hours. There's not this thing that's the problem. Like if they were able to count the ballots and get it done before midnight and actually have the total, people wouldn't be accusing them of shenanigans. But when you have counting going on for 7 days, 8 days, 10 days, 30 days in some cases in California, that just leads to suspicion that there's problems, that shit's going on. How to Win Friends and Influence People is a book worth reading. Well, I'm trying. Yes, latches. Well, latches can become a thing. Yeah, a couple of hours. What is this witchcraft? They do it, man. They do it. That's right. Give Jim a thumbs up. We have 111 in chat, and I'm only seeing 58 likes. That's just on the YouTube. We had over there in Kick, we had 20 people, and Twitch, we got 10 now. We had more up there before a bunch of people left because I guess they don't like America, as they say. It was a bunch of America haters on Twitch. So, yeah. So the Postmaster General defended the rule when it was first proposed, and he said, we match the ballots that a state believes they're sending out to what actually gets sent out. Makes sense, right? So after the most recent injunction, the White House said that the entire Trump administration will continue to lawfully enact the agenda President Trump was elected to enact. That's how IBW 46 gets contracts passed. Late ballots always push them over the top when word comes down from the international. Yeah. It's all about the 2 a.m. missing thumb drives. Yeah, I'll tell you something, Nathan. Do you remember? I don't know how long you've been in the union, but do you remember when there was the vote on drug testing? There was a vote on random drug testing for marijuana. It had to be voted on because it was part of a contract. I was there. It was the most crowded union hall ever for Local 134. And they did it by a voice vote. And it was, fights broke out because it was no. Everyone voted no random drug tests. No, bullshit. And the guy stood up, goes up, the ayes have it, because the word came down that we're going to do this. No matter what the people said, no matter what the members voted, they were going to pass it. They did. And there was legit fist fights over it. Like, it was bullshit. It was total bullshit. That's why I always vote no on the contract. Yeah. Same thing here from the New York Post says USPS moves ahead with the mail-in ballot rule despite the block from the Obama-appointed judge. That was back in like, man, when was that? That was like 2006, 2007, that vote. The crazies are out in force. Checking on full moon status. Yeah. So, yeah, the rule first proposed on June 2nd moves to align the agency with Trump's executive order. In order for an individual to be included on the list, their state must submit to the USPS their name, address, and include a serialized number. This is good news, I think. So there'll be a barcode then on all the ballots. Easy enough to do. Easy enough to do. This sounds like a good idea. What do you guys think? You guys think it's a good idea? You think they should have to have like a list so they know that ballots aren't going to non-citizens or that ballots aren't going to like empty houses? So that I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea. Only a half moon phase must be the heat. Yeah. I wonder, can they get someone at the post office to backdate the ballots that come in late? They just won't date them. They'll just say like, that's the problem is a lot of post offices weren't never even like, they weren't putting them through the machine that stamped them that they were received or anything like that. Yeah, they already scanned priority mail. It took them long enough for ballots. Yeah. Trooper says, my laptop's starting to struggle with all these tabs open. Well, I appreciate you being on all those spots. I really do. We had pot testing, but after the state legalizes, they took it off. It doesn't matter because if you're working with any job with federal money, you still have to test for pot. Yeah, I'm talking about this was like 2005, 2006, somewhere around there, 2007, where it was basically like a vote to enact because we didn't have random drug testing before that. Like the union did do it. Job sites, it was a different thing. Like you could get drug tested on a job site or if you got hurt. This was like the union doing random drug testing, like where you just get a call at work and be like, you got to go for a random drug test. We were like, yeah, we don't want that. We don't want that. If someone wants to smoke some weed on a Friday night, they don't want to have to worry about getting drug tested Monday morning. So after the most recent injunction was issued, the entire Trump administration will continue to lawfully enact the Trump agenda. Yeah, postal workers are super shady. Your ex worked there for 13 years. Stories would blow your mind. Or they call you from a drug test after coming back from vacation. Yeah. But I will say, there was a way around it. And we figured it out pretty quick. If it wasn't like, if you like, they would call in to see if you were at work. And if you weren't at work that day, then they couldn't drug test you and your name just got cycled. And then it wasn't like, oh, tell him when he comes in tomorrow. No, it was just like a random thing each day. It was a new group of people. And so you could basically like any time, if it was somebody that was like, you knew that liked to smoke, then you would just be like, oh, he's not here today. That's it. And then they wouldn't get drug tested. Just saying. Yeah, well, back in the day, the IRS enforced the April 16th date for tax returns and had to be stamped that day. Yeah, well, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. All right, let's get into this next story. Next story. First Amendment victory. D.C. Circuit overturns the verdict against James O'Keefe. Rules undercover journalism is protected speech. What do you know? Who would have thunk it? Who would have thunk it? In a major First Amendment and investigative reporting win, a 3-judge panel on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit has overturned a jury verdict and damages award against James O'Keefe and journalist Allison Moss, stemming from a Project Veritas investigation into Democracy Partners. The panel ruled 2-1 that the First Amendment protects publishing undercover footage and that the damages improperly punished protected journalistic activity. This is what the demon rats, the commies want, though. This is what they're trying to do. And I hate to break it to you guys. This is something that I'm really wondering about. Like this whole push to criminal, like to say I don't like the flock cameras. Okay, let me just come right on. I don't like them. I don't think it's a good idea. But if they can pass a law saying that this company can't put cameras up on private property or public property or any of these things, that it's illegal for this company to take pictures, what's different from them telling you or me that we can't take pictures in public? I mean, we have the right. You have the right to film anything you can see with your eyes when you're out in public. You do. It's a First Amendment right. So if they tell Flock they can't do it, then they can tell us we can't do it. Then they can tell us we can't film cops. That's what's next. If they do this whole thing, I personally think this might be a work with the Flocks to piss a bunch of people off so we get a push to change the laws. And then they change the laws and they say, yeah, you know what? You can't just film shit in public anymore. And then it's us, the people, can't film shit in public. Then we can't film when we see cops doing something that we don't like. We can't film something. That's what it's coming down to. That's the problem. Like, you know, when you're out there filming, you're filming a cop doing something, or you're filming people breaking the law or anything. You are a person taking a video or picture, not a faceless device. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The company has rights according to the Constitution, just like a person does. They've got First Amendment rights. The company does. They do. Citizens United made that clear. Yes. No expectation of privacy outside the four walls of their home. Well, that's been the case for the longest time. But the Supreme Court seems like they might be changing their mind on that. There was a ruling about like data and stuff like that, which I'm like torn on this stuff because I believe in privacy. I believe in I'm more libertarian than any. Like I'm like, yeah, I don't want. I hate the government, you know. But you know, the thing with the thing about Flock is it's possible because mainly their customers are all government entities. Maybe that's why it can be stopped. Like maybe, I mean, I guess they could say, well, we're not going to, no, the government can't do this. I mean, that would be the instead of passing a law saying that Flock can't do this, they'd have to pass a law saying Flock, governments can't buy the stuff from Flock or something without a warrant, or I don't know. It's the government doing it. Yeah. The difference is tracking of people can be filmed in public, but not tracked wherever you go. They are not without responsibilities, though. Okay. You should be watching the people working for us, not them watching us. Yeah, well. Nathan says, I support Flock cameras in Walmart parking lots. It's needed. They can read lips and stuff. Yeah. I know they're working. We can no longer video mostly peaceful drugstores burning during BLM protests. Well, that's what they'll say. They'll say like, oh, you can't do this. It'll be crazy. So O'Keefe announced the decision in a video posted to his X account. There we go. Here's O'Keefe.
Today, my faith in the future of journalism and in our courts is restored. In my entire life, I've only lost one case at jury verdict 4 years ago. Well, today, that case has just been overturned by the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, Democracy Partners versus O'Keefe. This case has profound impact on the First Amendment and undercover journalism at large, the right of an undercover journalist to misrepresent themselves in order to bring you the truth. This order just published a 2-to-1 vote in the Federal Court of Appeals. Democratically appointed judges ruling in our favor on the First Amendment. Judge Karen LaCraft Henderson framed the central constitutional question directly: whether a jury could impose damages that, in substance, punished us for publishing a news story. Now, the Court of Appeals answer was no. It held that the First Amendment prohibited the award because the protected content of our reporting, not legally actionable conduct, was the principal cause of the economic losses which the people sued us for. Now, this is a tremendous victory, not just for us, but for every journalist who takes on powerful people, and for your First Amendment rights. And credit to my appellate lawyer, the best lawyer I've ever known, constitutional litigator Ben Barr, for this victory in the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, which is probably a bigger victory than the Supreme Court. Ben Barr is on the phone. Ben, what an amazing job. My team is overwhelmed. Can you give us your reaction to this panel voting?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Phil, I agree. Yeah, they also don't own the data they collect, so the companies that own the cameras can then turn around and sell the data to the highest bidders. Yeah, I don't want effing cameras on every corner recording every movement people make so that the government can go back into the database and track down your movements wherever you go. I agree. I 100% agree. But that comes down to like, what does the Constitution say? You know, like you can put cameras, like think ring cameras. All right. Everybody's putting ring cameras on their house. All right. Amazon owns all those ring cameras and they can access them and do whatever the fuck they want with them. All right. They turn it over to the cops all the time. You know, there's a difference though when they're putting cameras on, like if they're putting cameras on like street lights, stuff like that, on, you know, traffic signals. You know, but if somebody wants to go ahead, like if say, I don't know, say a country club or a business or, you know, any type of any private landowner wants to contract with Flock and gives them lets them put their camera on their property. How does the government have a right to tell them they can't do it? I don't see it. I think you're running into some constitutional issues, which maybe, I don't know. I mean, what underlying, what other unintended consequences will happen if we allow the government to tell a private person that he can't lease land to a company to put a camera on it or whatever, or rent property to them to put a camera on and get paid to have a camera there. I don't know. Sorry, Jim, wrong. Dissemination to the public is much different than collecting data for the sake of collection and possible for the possibility of criminal activity. Hello, everyone. Late show, but I'll start at the beginning and catch up. Well, okay, Vince. So Nick's law in California is void. It may be. O'Keefe and Nick surely have done more to uncover government corruption than all the MSM. Yeah. I have changed my driving route to work because of Flock cameras, though. I agree. I don't like. So I'm saying I don't like the Flock cameras. I think they should, like, the company, like, but I don't know what the law, you know what I mean, what the actual Constitution, where that falls on this. Like, if like here, like Teslas have multiple cameras that's collected by Tesla. Yeah, like every Tesla basically has cameras on it, like multiple cameras filming everything. Like a lot of other cars do too, and they film stuff. Yeah, let me ask, does everyone trust every cop they come across? No. And the cops have been using these Flock cameras to track people and do shit, track ex-girlfriends. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is a very messy situation with the Flock cameras. But if they're allowed, all I'm saying is if we allow the government, if the government is allowed, if it's constitutional for the government to say, yeah, those Flock cameras are illegal, you can't have cameras to film it. The next line from that is me as a person, you as a person aren't allowed to film in public unless we get people's permission. Is that what you think we should be? Is where if we're filming something, someone can go, I didn't give you permission to film me. Really? I don't. The law needs to be govern what you can and can't do with the algorithms. Yeah. Can the Flock cam on my neighbor's property be pointed to look at my house and in my windows? That's the thing. I don't think it's supposed to be looking inside of houses. If there's cameras pointing inside your house, I think that might be an invasion of your privacy. But states can make laws above the Constitution. No, they can't make laws that violate the Constitution. I have my own LPR camera at the bottom of my driveway. I have no access to DMV records, but I have information to provide to guys I work with when the information is needed. There you go. We can't keep losing our rights. We have to start taking them back. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Glenn. That's a good idea, Glenn. It's a good idea. So I'm just saying, like, I don't like the Flock cameras. I don't like the idea of them doing the shit. And I definitely don't like the cops that are going and arresting people based on some report in Flock that said, oh, we think this person was in that area. You know, I think this might be another, like, wedge issue that they're trying to fuck around with. I think we have a major midterm election to win against the communists. Yes, we do, Mike. Yes, we do, Michael. There's a big difference between surveillance cameras and data mining. Yeah, I agree. I don't know, like, I don't know where the line is. I don't know where the line is and what would be acceptable and what's not, you know. I don't like them. I don't like the Flock cameras. Yeah, they're wedge issues. That's what I'm saying. That's what I think they're trying to gin this issue up with the flock cameras because they had all the people who were all for these flock cameras that were installing were all fucking Democrats, and all the Democrat cities, they were everywhere. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, this is a problem. It's all Republicans' fault. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. One of the problem with the flock style cameras is some of them have backdoors that anyone can access using flip bit style products. Oh, well, that's not good. That's not good. Wonder if they work when the power is down for 10 days. Some of them have solar panels on them to power them, and that they basically can run, I think, nonstop because they have a battery and a solar power. They're like a whole self-enclosed unit. And other ones, I think, are tied into like the city power or whatever. So I don't know. Let's get back to what O'Keefe said.
Today, my faith in the future of journalism and in our courts is restored. In my entire life, I've only lost one case at jury verdict of journalism and in our courts is restored. In 2016
journalism. So we have all
Ben Barr, the great constitutional litigator, Ben Barr, with the biggest victory of my life. If we had lost this case, Ben, we would have been on the hook for potentially millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars in fees for attorney fees for recording, and a six-figure sum for the fraudulent misrepresentation. You just can't have effective journalism and with those sorts of damages hanging over the heads of journalists, not in a free society. But this is as important or more important a case as Food Lion was 30 years ago. But this is now the O'Keefe principle. And we're proud to be able to preserve that and push these sorts of cases forward, James.
I want my audience to know Ben is the greatest lawyer I've ever known. And he has done something extraordinary, and we're very grateful. Thank you, Ben. Talk soon.
You're the best reporter out there. Thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you, Ben. Talk soon. Some background for those who don't remember. This story we got sued for was 9 years, actually, no, it was 10 years ago. Next month, I was sued in 2017 after breaking the biggest story of my career. Those were the 2016 presidential election, rigging the election videos involving Bob.
I will say one other thing. I don't know why it reset on me when I was, that's what happened. I would do it again. So Nathan says, I'll say if you're going to vandalize a flock, make sure you take the device that's pinging the cell towers. Yes. And I will say, just so everyone knows, there is there's a flock, from what I understand, I don't know if this is true or not, but what I've been told is that there is 3 pounds of copper inside a flock camera, along with like 13 grams of gold and silver also. So just saying. That's what I heard. Story someone told me. Is that one of the fellers from Munchkin Land? Flock is because of the Patriot games. O'Keefe seems so happy until the next lawsuit. Yeah. Considering this is all network news shows used to do back in the good old days, everyone's old enough to remember them. Yeah. Yeah. Send in the meth heads. Yeah, well, crackheads will be all up in that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what's up, Dusky Don? How you doing? Just saying, The problem here is the government doing the mass surveillance, not the private individuals. Yeah.
Creamer and Democracy Partners and Scott Foval. Individuals in the tape said that Hillary Clinton, quote, knew through the chain of command what was going on, that there were these bird dogging things happening at Trump rallies, inciting violence at Trump rallies, and then blaming it on Trump. Here's a little flashback of Anderson Cooper covering it and CNN covering it for those who don't remember those videos.
Video emerging of a group of pro-Clinton political operatives talking about stirring up trouble and provoking violence at Trump rallies. The video comes from Project Veritas, brainchild of James O'Keefe, who's got a less than stellar reputation for accuracy. However, some of the things you'll hear on the tape are certainly hard to ignore. Enough we're learning for one person to be fired.
It doesn't matter what the freaking legal and ethics people say. We need to win this motherfucker.
If you're there and you're protesting and you do these actions, you will be attacked at Trump rallies. That's what we know.
There's a script. Okay. There's a script of engagement. Sometimes the crazies bite and sometimes the crazies don't bite.
Hillary is aware of all the work that you guys do, I hope.
The campaign is fully in.
And then they tell Hillary what's going on.
Well, Hillary knows through the chain of command.
Yeah.
The campaign pays DNC. DNC pays Democracy Partners. Democracy Partners pays the Foval Group. The Foval Group goes and executes the shit on the ground.
I'm not suggesting we wait around. We need to start this shit right away.
You know what? We've been busting people in to deep fucking assholes for 50 years, and we're not going to stop now. We're just going to find a different way to do it.
In the end, it was the candidate, Hillary Clinton, the future president of the United States, who wanted ducks on the ground. So by God, we will give ducks on the ground.
So it's wow.
Don't repeat that tape.
Wow.
Don't repeat that tape.
And here's a clip of Donald Trump bringing those videos up in front of 70 million people at the debate with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I heard Gary, Indiana's having some issues because they had some flooding and stuff like that. And Gary, Indiana has been run by Gary, Indiana and the surrounding area. Basically, that whole area, Hammond, Gary, is Democrat controlled. That's the Democrat pocket of Indiana. Just saying. I don't know. Put 2 and 2 together. As soon as the crackheads and meth heads learn there's copper inside, bye-bye birdie. Yeah. Well, it's actually the gold that's in there is worth more than the copper. Copper's only like $3 a pound or something like that. 8 or 8, maybe it's higher now. Yeah, Gary, Indiana is South Chicago. Yeah. Yeah. The Jackson 5 are originally from Gary. Yeah. Yeah. It's not a safe place to go after dark. Used to be Gary, Indiana at one point in time was the carjacking capital of the world. And then Indiana passed what's called concealed carry. This was back in like the mid 2000 time, like 2004, 5, 6, somewhere around there. And then Indiana passed concealed carry for handguns. You know, if you conceal carry, and so, all of a sudden, like out of boom, the carjackings just stopped. Like not completely, but plummeted off a cliff. Just saying, when people think they might actually have to face somebody who can defend themselves, they're a lot less likely to try to break in a car and get you. I'm grabbing some of them tonight. Yeah, hello, police. I grew up in Fort Wayne, actually just south of there. Oh, I used to love going to the Holiday Star in Maryville to see Ted Nugent. What a Dem control area suffers major infrastructure. Color me shocked. Yeah. Yeah. What city was what city in Indiana was Mayor Pete Buttigieg of? Wasn't it Hammond, Indiana, which is right next to Gary? A lot of steel made in Gary. Well, hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're I don't know if you heard, Michael, or not. We're having South Bend. All right, yeah, right there, same area. It's a free for all tonight. Yeah, it is. There is no steel industry in Gary anymore. South Bend. So I spent like 4.5, 5 hours getting, I believe, the ability to have people call in to the show. So if we make it like the show is normal, same show like normal, it's going to go like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, unless we hit the $100 goal, which then we add an extra hour to the show. And if we actually hit a second hour or whenever this, we hit 200, I'm going to put the phone number up so people can call in and we can have conversations, do all that stuff. I don't know. I've never done anything like this before. So we're just trying to work out what the best way to do it. But so if people want to call in, stuff like that, talk and have people hear your voice and do stuff and answer questions, talk about stuff, we'll do that. Those are some nice people. I haven't lived in Indiana since 85. Never before have I turned on you, the Nugget song. I saw Nugent at the Hollywood Sportatorium back in 76. Awesome, dude. Awesome. Nugent was great, man. Nugent is, he can still rock, though. He can still rock. There's Lisa Day with 10. There you go. So with that, folks, means we are now 80 away from adding a first additional hour and just 30 away from Bellavision. The Motor City Madman, yeah. I'm assuming Jim covered a Karmelo BS earlier. I knew he wasn't getting a new trial. There's no basis. Yeah, that was the first story. Kind of the first story. We covered a couple other things. The first thing we covered tonight was the Jake Lang stuff, him getting arrested for getting attacked in Minneapolis. Yeah. Never liked Cat Scratch Fever. Well, it's a good song, though. I was a Wango Z Tango. Ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Yeah. Put the data centers in Greenland. Problem solved. Yeah. Thanks for being here. I used to play hockey at the old Studebaker factory on South Bend. On warm days, the condenser would cause so much fog you couldn't see the other end of the rink. I like watching George Floyd footage. Listen to Stranglehold. Got you in a stranglehold, baby. First album, the best. You missed the coverage on Jake Lang. Yeah, that was the first thing we talked about. Well, I want to finish the stuff with O'Keefe real quick.
I have a feeling how they came. I believe it was her campaign that did it. Just like if you look at what came out today on the clips, where I was wondering what happened with my rally in Chicago and other rallies where we had such violence. She's the one in Obama that caused the violence. They hired people, they paid them $1,500, and they're on tape saying, be violent, cause fights, do bad things.
Now, this video was on the front page of the New York Times, but I got sued in 2017, 9 years ago, for exposing this. The issues before Your Honor were breach of fiduciary duty and fraudulent misrepresentation. You might be asking, how can an investigative reporter owe a duty to the subject they investigate? Well, that's a great question, but it's an unsettled area in the law. The only other case was involving Food Lion Grocery in the 1990s, when undercover reporters got jobs at the grocery store and exposed the rotting meat and the bad conditions of the food. ABC News lost that in the 1990s, and it went to the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals in North Carolina 30 years ago, and it remained unsettled. Now, the main issue in all these cases that I'm involved in is whether the people who lose their jobs as a result of the stuff that they say, is the loss of their job due to us misrepresenting ourselves in costumes and so forth, or is it due to what they said and did? Now, obviously, it's due to what they said and did. And in America, we have a First Amendment. A journalist cannot be held liable for what they publish so long as it's true. If our reporting causes someone to lose their job, well, that's not our fault. In fact, that's our right to report it. The First Amendment should protect.
Yeah. Phil's right. The crazy thing is that this was a conspiracy theory that we always knew was true, but if you bring it up, the lefties, they will deny it until they're dead. Yeah. It's all fun and games until someone loses an eye. Yeah. You'll shoot your eye out with that BB gun.
Protect our right to report their wrongdoing. And that is what was at stake in this case. And in all the cases currently against me. They're trying to hold a reporter liable for reporting facts about what they do wrong. And they get punished for what they've done wrong. I've documented it. Now, in this case, a woman named Lauren Windsor went around and recruited all these people to sue me. This was 10 years ago. I've won all those cases except this one until today. But I want you to know something, the most important thing. I have had to spend a decade of my life in court and millions of dollars raised through nonprofit donations defending myself. In fact, you see this logo here. You might be wondering, why is this on my wall? Project Veritas fired me from the company I created, in part because I spent resources defending this principle in federal court. And they fired me in part because a jury ruled against me, which has now been overturned. And that brings me to the next issue. This went to a jury trial in September of 2022, 4 years ago. The jury was hostile against me. This case at the jury trial wasn't about these issues. It was about, somehow it became about Trump versus Hillary Clinton. This case had nothing to do with Trump versus Hillary. This had to do with the First Amendment and my right to report facts. There was even a man on the jury who had worked alongside the Hillary Clinton campaign and said, when asked during voir dire, that's jury selection, if he's ever heard of me. And he said to the courtroom, no, I've never heard of James O'Keefe. And as that man got off of the jury stand and walked back, he winked at me as if to say, yeah. And he lied under oath during jury selection. You see, I had to live through that. I had to endure all of it.
That's just brutal, man, what he had to go through. They try to take his company from him. It's just crazy. It is. I honestly believe it's the opposition strategies just cause chaos and sow division and doubt. Stay the course. Yeah. Well, I think their plan is to make normal people go, we want it just to be, we don't want to deal with this anymore. It's kind of like, I think some people actually did vote for Biden in 2020 because they're like, it's just too much crazy shit. They're rioting, all this shit that's happening. Let's just go back to, we can't deal with this. And then they saw what the people who were in charge did when they were pretending it was Biden running it. And they're like, No, and then they couldn't cheat because some other stuff didn't happen the way they thought, and they didn't have enough mail-in ballots to cheat the way they wanted to in 2024. So I don't know. We just have to hope for the best and get out and vote, and you have to do your part. Everyone has to do their part. So everyone has to do their part. So congratulations, James O'Keefe. We're glad that he won. We're glad that he's finally got this fixed. And we really want to. I want to know why his case when they went after him over the Acorn stuff. Whatever happened with that? Like, did that ever get overturned when Kamala Harris tried to throw him in jail over Acorn? You have to keep fighting for what is right. That's right. So, even the New York Times is admitting that the DSA wants to take out the entire constitutional system. So Bill Maher had a guest on a show, and the show said, yeah, the DSA, they just want to destroy America. They want to destroy everything.
Democrats in the House that I talk to are really worried that if they don't pick up a dozen seats, they're going to be beholden to the new squad and this handful of Democratic socialists who will essentially have veto power over the entire Democratic establishment agenda. That's a big concern.
Yeah.
Will they? They will.
Well,
yeah.
if it's a slim majority, just
Yeah.
like you're seeing on the right with the Tea Party, and a little bit less so now, if it's a slim majority, minority rules within the party.
And they're not running to be members of the Democratic Party. They're
running to destroy the Democrat, but the Democrat Party is stupid for allowing these people in because they want power. So like, oh, we'll let the crazy commies in because they'll give us control of Congress. They want to eat you, man. They want to eat you too, buddy. I hate to break it to you. They want to eat you too.
running, many of them anyway, as Democratic socialists. It's a totally different political organization. And in fact, they want to take out the Democratic Party. I mean, that's their stated goal. They not only want to take out the Democratic Party, they want to take out the entire constitutional system that the Democratic Party is allowed to participate in government.
And they like communism.
They like communism. Bill Maher proved it. Like, it's in their national platform, people. On their national platform, on their website, it says they want to seize the means of production. What is that? That's communism.
Proved it here a couple of weeks ago just by quoting them. They use the word a lot. They're not actually trying to hide it, although if you ask them, they will deny it.
Democrats.
Right, they'll deny it, but they're liars. They're liars. They're scum, and you have to be ready. There is a war coming between the commies and the capitalists. It is. They're gonna start it. They're already planning on it. They want a revolution. That's what they want. You know, they want a revolution. Bernie Sanders wants a revolution. AOC wants a revolution. Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, Cory Bush, all of them. Mandami. But even this says the Maoist faction of the DSA says AOC is too moderate to run for president. Yeah, they're big tent. They're gonna be they're gonna be buried under it. There's very little daylight between the Democrat Party and the DCS. Yeah. Democratic Socialists, yeah. DSA, yeah. It's not like we didn't warn them. No, but they don't listen. Yep. Criminals don't stop until they are stopped or face consequences. Commies practice their form of taquilla. Yeah, they do. Yeah. They're the foot soldiers of the Democrat Party. Now they want to get paid. Yeah. That's what they want. So there's a apparent Maoist faction of the DSA called the Liberation Caucus. According to them, far left AOC is too moderate. AOC is a member of the DSA. So if AOC is a moderate, what does that say about the rest of them? AOC blasted as too moderate for the DSA. Karlov Kames, AOC is a moderate Dem as compared to the core DSA wing. And then Scott says, that's a good point. Jessica Tarlov, I don't understand this woman. I really don't.
I mean, she is now compared to the real core DSA wing, like the far left stuff, like the Daria Liza. AOC is like a moderate Dem on a comparative basis.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
She's very good, and Republicans, I'm not saying voters, but her relationships with Republicans on the Hill, I think, is one of her most under-discussed and most important qualities. People.
Mm-hmm. Total moron. So So after withdrawing a conditional endorsement of the squad Democrat in 2024, the DSA's National Committee determined that AOC hosted a panel with an alleged Zionist. So she was also trashed for joining a group of Democrats to co-sign a statement after voting against providing Israel with supplemental weapons funding. Yeah. My only wish is to be in the camps long enough to see these people in there with me. Well, I don't plan on going to any camps. There's many ways I think we can avoid going to camps. We just have to start with the helicopters. That's it. Yeah, that's insane. AOC is a disaster. Yeah. Yeah, she is a useless idiot for the commies. Yeah, no problem. I got you, though. I knew what you meant. Yeah. No way we end up in camps. I ended up in a camp. So. I got this next story. Youths viciously attack and rob a single father as part of a TikTok stunt while he relaxes in a jacuzzi. Like I think I saw this on X the other day, the video of it. Yeah, this is just crazy. 2 youths commit a sickening act of violence against a hardworking single California father who regularly helped those less fortunate. I'd love to see AOC debate real issues concerning the country with JD or Marco. Well, that's the thing. She would just say nonsensical stuff and keep repeating talking points, and then basically just try to cut them off and say, like, I'm speaking. Like, that's what Kamala says. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. I'm speaking. Excuse me, I'm speaking. Excuse me, I'm speaking. So one youth kicked the father hard in the back of the head, and the other one snatched his phone. A white man who spends his entire life feeding the homeless was just attacked from behind, robbed, and kicked in the head. 2 black men. They said, the police say it's completely random. It's always completely random.
It's a hard kick to the back of the head that Greg Medina has no idea is coming.
I was listening to the class in my earbuds, and normally I don't do that, but this day I decided to, and felt a sharp kick behind my head. I saw the kids off in the distance, didn't really pay much attention to them.
Take a close look at this video. Greg is sitting in the jacuzzi at the Creekside Village Apartments in San Bernardino Friday night. On the other side of the pool are 2 suspects. The person with the white shirt appears to tie his shoe before they walk toward him. That same person then kicks Greg and runs. You see the other person reach down. Greg says he stole his phone, which was resting on the concrete. He tracked his phone to a neighboring apartment complex and also contacted police.
Being that it's a nice sized complex with about 30, 40 units, they couldn't track it down to a single unit.
It had been a long week. Greg works as a chef to feed the unhoused for Lutheran Social Services, a nonprofit organization that has a location in San Bernardino.
An average morning, I serve about 70, 75 men. And I start at 5 a.m. and I usually end about 1, 2 o'clock.
He went to the emergency room and learned he had a concussion, but because he's the only parent that provides for his 12-year-old daughter, he says taking a day off was all he really could do, despite not feeling well. He's hoping someone will recognize these 2 suspects who police say could face assault with a deadly weapon and robbery, both felony charges.
If they're willing to do that to me as a 48-year-old grown man, what are they going to do with the senior citizen that's in there? You know, what are they going to do with someone that's in a wheelchair?
Greg canceled services to his phone. Meantime, San Bernardino police say they are investigating.
I don't hate them. You know, I forgive them.
Oh, well, that's your problem. You forgive them. You could say when they're murdering you and they're stabbing you and raping your daughter and family, just keep telling them you forgive them.
Any bad on anybody. However, I do feel that they need to be held accountable. And especially as a parent.
Yep. 100%. 100%, Chloe. 100%. Knight says, this is why property and hotel owners are right in the gatekeeping who enters the poolside. That's right. Trooper says, that is why you live out in the country on dozens of acres in a bright red state. Yeah, never forgive, fool. That's right. Contrast well with the 6-year-old lifeguard who saved a kid a week ago. Yeah. Yeah, if you guys should, if you guys really want to know and you want to be prepared, you want to know how to protect yourself, There's a channel called Future Conflict. It's on YouTube. They do shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the mornings. It's a great channel. I'm a huge fan. I've been on it a couple times. All former military guys, and Joe Dolio, Tactical Wisdom is his name. He has books called I think it's called Tactical Wisdom, actually, run through 6, I believe. And you can get his books. And there's a bunch. Brushbeater has great books on, about the Guerrilla's Guide to the Baofeng Radio, stuff like that. And Scott has good books too. And Wayne Pardo writes some really good books. Blue Dawn. You should check them out. They just tried to steal the phone. Yeah. So he works as a chef at a nonprofit Lutheran social services. He's been feeding the homeless for years. Suffered a concussion. 2 13-year-olds were arrested on felony charges after being turned in by their parents on Friday. So their parents turned him in. So he forgives them. He's got a 12-year-old daughter. So if they raped her, I wonder if he'd forgive them. One of the fathers reached out to Medina and informed him that his son was involved in the attack. Medina later met both teens, their fathers, and family members at the jail. So maybe they can write on your tombstone, he wasn't a racist. Yeah. The boys apologized, and then he shook hands with them. They apologized to me. We shared an embrace, and I told them I forgive them. Wow. Yeah, great channel on YouTube. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:30 is YouTube and Rumble. Yep, Future Conflict. Great channel. Great channel. If you guys are interested in learning how you can be prepared for what's coming, because it's coming. It really is. It's coming. What? Oh, the channel. It's called Future Conflict. It's I'll get the link here. Hold on. Here. I'll post the link for the channel on YouTube. It's also on Rumble. Same thing, Future Conflict channel. It's great if you want information about how to prepare for the coming storm. Yeah. Even after the attack, he's still a retarded commie. Yeah. Well, 15 years in lockup would teach him better than forgiveness. Yeah. Yeah. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday they do shows, like 9:30, 10 a.m. Eastern time, something like that. It's on Rumble also. I don't have the Rumble link though. Yeah. Yaisu versus Baofeng radios. The Baofeng is just a cheap, I don't know. I have several Baofengs, and The Guerrilla's Guide to the Baofeng Radio is a great book. It's a great book. Next story here. Americans are outraged after learning who runs the Nashville hospital where multiple patients were paralyzed due to a pharmacy error. You don't say. Dangerous drug mix-up leaves 2 patients paralyzed. Yeah, Gundam's got it over there. Yeah, check them out on Rumble. So nationwide anger continues to simmer over the medical error that permanently ruined the lives of several people at a Nashville hospital, as the hospital CEO is now under the spotlight. Multiple patients went into cardiac arrest after a pharmacy error led to dangerous drug mix-ups at the Ascension St. Thomas Midtown Hospital. They were given the wrong medication before surgery. The 4 patients were given potassium instead of anesthetic. The dangerous mix-up happened at the hospital's in-house pharmacy. It's an insane story. Yeah, it is. Oh, ready for controversy? How is it different from what Erica said when they killed Charlie? I tell people my name is not Jesus. Yeah, you know what? I did not agree. I could not forgive. I'm sorry. Not before somebody has to pay. There has to be some retribution before there can be forgiveness in my book. Do you think if you forgive them, they won't come back and do it again to you? You mean reading means reading? Okay. Pharmacy is the problem. CBS notes that too much potassium administered too quickly can stop a person's heart. You're just hoping his daughter isn't as brainwashed as he is. Yeah. The hospital later said they were sorry. We're sorry. We're sorry we killed your family. We're sorry you killed your father. Users quickly discovered the president of Ascension St. Thomas is an Indian native, Dr. Shubhahubba Jagazian, who earned her Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery in Mumbai, India. So I wonder if this is actually a real doctor, or was this a doctor that went to one of those diploma mills? They have diploma mills in India, which is basically like somebody's garage where they just sit there and then they, watch a couple movies and then they go, okay, here you go. Here's a diploma. Under Jagazi's leadership, St. Thomas was named as one of the 10 best hospitals in Tennessee, they claim. But America's remained fixated on her Indian education, suggesting the error occurred in part because she lacked the credible educational qualifications. There's no evidence of this. Fake doctor. Could be. And she doesn't care. Yeah. Dr. Shabugagaga, hospital president and CEO in Nashville. What are we doing here? U.S. News and World Report is woke. Yeah. Exactly. Jim, diploma mills are not talked about enough. It's crazy. Yeah. You touch my kid, choices are 9 or 556. You pick. Never put an Indian in charge of your hospital unless you want third world results. Sour Patch Mom. Hey, that's Sour Patch Lids. She used to work for Tim Pool. Yeah. U.S. News and World Report listed blue cities as some of the best to live in. Oh, I know. They suck. So Matt Young says, and the doctor's name is, wait for it, Dr. Shubhahubba Jagazian. America is apple pie, probably a fake degree from India. She should be held accountable. The lady's running a hospital, earned her MBBS and MD from a GS medical college in Mumbai. Like, is she an actual doctor? That's the question. Bazooka bubblegum diploma? Could be. Could be. The cops keep protecting them and their handlers. Yeah. They play in manure. Is that the doctor you trust? So outrageous. I wonder if it's deliberate. Head of the hospital earned her degree in Mumbai. I'm so grateful that the doctor blessed us to immigrate to the U.S. and run one of our major hospitals because there are no native-born Americans who could have done the job. Yes, they're doing the jobs that Americans won't do. Can we forgive people after we punish them? Why is it that I get the feeling that those that talk about forgiveness do not think about punishing someone for their actions? Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there has to be punishment. There has to be recompense. There has to be, there has to be retribution. There has to be. Otherwise, you don't learn a lesson. What happens to a little kid that keeps getting told, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, don't worry, it's okay, it's okay, when they do things wrong? No, you don't. Then they're going to keep doing it. CNN is reporting it's Trump's fault. I'm sure they are. A lot of pharmacists are Vietnamese for some reason. I wonder why. Just like they blame Trump for the shit lettuce outbreak. Yeah. Insurance companies want you to forgive and not sue. Yeah, they do. Yeah, consequences. There has to be consequences. Hey, what's up, Jen? How you doing? Happy Saturday. Are any trans? I don't know. You go to a hospital for a knee replacement and never walk out. That's exactly what happened to Glenda Dorton. Instead of being administered the correct anesthesia, she was given potassium. Is now paralyzed from the chest down. The hospital CEO was born and raised in Mumbai, got her degree there. We have met. So the statement of the Indian CEO says, on behalf of our leadership, I'm deeply sorry for the harm caused to our patients. We have met directly with each family to express our deep support, connecting them with spiritual care teams and ensured that they have access to all appropriate resources and ongoing care needed. Erica was forgiving Tyler for killing her husband for her own heart, not for him to avoid punishment. I understand that. I'm just saying, I don't think I could do that. I know. I'm just saying, I don't know. Maybe I'm not a good Christian, but I couldn't do that. A kick in the head can leave you dead. That's right. And you get the attitude of black Utes kicking people in the head and steal their phone. There you go. Due to the mix-up at the hospital, 4 patients received potassium instead of bupivacaine for epidurals before routine joint surgery. At least one is paralyzed. Wow. Yes, it's not good enough. That's what I'm saying. It's not good enough. The worst error I've ever heard of. How could this keep happening? I mean, 4 times. They will, Jim. Forgive them all you want. She hasn't forgiven Candace, I hope. Well, we've been told it happened in the pharmacy where instead of putting an anesthetic called bupivacaine in the syringes, somehow they filled it with potassium, which could be lethal. Like the person who was working in the pharmacy, were these some of the Haitians working in our medical field? Did they have some of the Haitian H-1Bs or whatever? Is that who we had? They couldn't read? Or were some other people that couldn't read and couldn't tell the difference between the 2 medications? What do you think? Do you guys think that's possible? Is it possible that that's what happened? I think it's possible. Or she just brought in maybe she brought in a bunch of other fake diplomat Indians to work in the pharmacy and stuff. Because that's what happens as soon as an Indian gets in charge of anything over here, they just hire all Indians. They're very tribal. Maybe a class action lawsuit will send them back. Maybe. Could be. It's possible. Okay. Next story. Pennsylvania teen said demons made him stab his girlfriend to death. Demons. And hide body with his mom. Wow. Indians are allowed to be tribal, but God forbid whites get together for anything. Yeah, you can't do that. A Pennsylvania teen's been arrested and charged in the killing of his girlfriend and claimed that demons told him to stab her to death. Yeah. Canada's turning into a dump because of him. Yeah. Royce Mosier has been charged with the homicide and the death of Caroline Heinz, a soccer player at Penn West, California. Heinz's body was found in the back of a Jeep Cherokee at 12:24 in the morning on Thursday. 35 miles from Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh. According to a statement from the Pennsylvania State Police, the California Police Department was notified to check the Jeep Cherokee after Caroline failed to return to California University. When police found the vehicle, there was blood spatter in and out of the inside and outside the Jeep. Heinz's body was found in the rear hatch, according to authorities. Investigation revealed Carolyn Heinz met with her boyfriend, Royce Moser, outside her father's residence in North Strabane to talk. During the discussion, Royce Moser reportedly became angry and entered the residence. Moser then retrieved a large kitchen knife and stabbed Heinz in the chest. After she fell from the vehicle, Moser placed her in the rear hatch and drove to the residence of his mother in Bealsville. Like, this is grainy. This is crazy. Like, I wonder, did she break up with him and that's why she did it? These people don't punish their kids. So that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like to me. What's up, Duck Fat? Great to see you tonight. A big, beautiful northern wall would be nice. It would be. What's up, Gunny? Yeah, what's up? So Moser then recruited his mother to help clean the Jeep with cleaning sprays, and his mother obliged. Oh, my God. The mother should go to jail, too. Has the mother been arrested? The mother's an accessory after the fact. Gave him gloves and to clean out the car. After cleaning up the car, Rachel Moser told her son to follow her to the university with the body still inside. They then left the Jeep near the California's library with her still inside. Rachel Moser then drove Royce back to her residence where he cleaned his clothes and showered. The mother and son are demons. That's what it sounds like to me. They're both demons. Royce Moser has been charged with homicide, tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, and conspiracy to commit abuse of a corpse and obstruction of justice. Rachel Moser has been charged with hindering apprehension, tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, and obstruction. This is crazy. The mother later told authorities that her son admitted to attacking his girlfriend, and she further related that Royce told her that he had demons. They told her to hold him to hurt the victim. He further related to her that he didn't know if the victim was dead or alive. Well, did you go check if she was dead or alive? That's not, lady. That statement could get you in a lot more trouble, because if he told you that he didn't know if she was dead or alive, and they can prove that she was still alive when you were letting him clean the car and you didn't do anything, you're now a murderer. I think I would say that's the way I would call it and make you a murderer. Have they never watched TV? That's not how you get away with it. I know. How did they believe they could get away with this? I don't know. Was he taking forensic classes? This isn't like that guy. No. Wow. Virginia mother charged with the murder of a 17-month-old twin sons drowned in the bathtub. What? This is like is this more copycats of the Clancy lady? Is this happening? More copycats of the Clancy? This isn't Pulp Fiction with Winston Wolfe. Yeah, get in there and clean it all up and scoop all the brains up and put them in a pile. And then, what is this? Dead storage outside? You see a sign? Even Brian Koberger screwed up. Yeah, it sounds like it. Well, Koberger's now claiming he's innocent, so we'll see. Virginia mother charged. This is crazy. Crazy. Hey, thank you to all the people that came over from the raid from FFS Cast. 21-year-old Virginia mother was arrested and charged with the murder of her 17-month-old twin sons drowned in a bathtub. Oh. Well, hey, guess what? You didn't complain when I was on his show. Amaya Dixon of Richmond was charged with 2 counts of felony murder and 2 counts of child neglect. The charges stem from an incident which the police officers responded to report of 2 injured children at an apartment. When officers arrived at the scene, they found boys suffering from drowning injuries. The children were transported to a hospital where they both died. One of the boys died that night, while the other died several days later. Hey, Jabba, what's up, man? Good to see you. Neat Scholar, how's it going? I've been tossed around from YouTube to YouTube. There you go. No homo. The doctors that prescribe all the drugs are the problem. Remember Travis Decker last year, the guy who killed 3 little girls? It was a huge manhunt. Yeah, what is going on? It's an epidemic. It's happening. It's crazy. In a straight way. I get it. I know. I get it. So, I don't know if you guys have never been here before. We do have a goal on the show. If we hit the goal, we get an extra hour. And then special tonight, first time ever, I have a phone number set up. If we hit hour 2, if we hit $200 in total tonight coming in, we will do a call-in show. People can call in and rant and say whatever they want. How cruel can someone be? It's nuts, isn't it? It's crazy. Dixon was already facing charges in the county before the twins' death. She had 8 unrelated charges dating back to December 2025. So it's just a fine, upstanding citizen here. Grand larceny, credit card fraud, possession of stolen property with intent to sell, and other offenses. The case is one of several recent incidents involving mothers accused of killing their own children. This is a tough audience. I know, right? This crazy tough audience. In Ohio, a mother was charged with murdering her 2 young daughters. They were found buried in suitcases. In Kentucky, a University of Kentucky cheerleader pled guilty this week to killing her newborn child. Lindsay Clancy has attracted national attention. She's admitted to killing her 3 children in massive 2-shits, but has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. She argued that she was experiencing psychosis when the killings occurred. Some women on social media have rallied in support of these crazy women who keep killing their kids, arguing that their mental state should excuse their actions. Yes, mothers killing their own. There's nothing is more evil. I'm wondering if this is what they were talking about. You know, if anybody follows like Revelation, talking about, like people getting crazy, mothers killing their kids. It's all in there. It's all in there. Our tax dollars go to safe haven laws. These young mothers have no excuse. Yeah. Well, that was the thing. That cheerleader, she could have just took that baby and put it at any firehouse, there's all types of places anywhere. Part of the end times. That's what I'm saying. I think we're experiencing crazy stuff. Look at all the people that all of a sudden think they're the different sex and they're going to chop their junk off or going to change their gender. I mean, this is just people acting crazy. It's in the book, man. Yes. Liberal white women will be the death of liberals. Yeah. Good point. I'm just saying. I don't know. Just asking questions. Others have claimed without evidence that her husband was actually responsible. I don't understand the fascination with this case. It seems to me the only question really was answers how crazy she is or was. Well, yeah. There's always the targeted individual theory out there too. I heard Clancy got almost $1 million in GoFundMe. Over $1 million in GoFundMe. 2020 broke a lot of brains. It seems like it. Well, there was that case. There was actually the case of a woman. This is not even in here. There was a woman in Florida that got found not guilty by reason of insanity for killing her 3 kids. Yeah. And it was because of COVID broke her brain. It was during COVID. I think it was like 2020, 2021, something like that. And she got found not guilty by reason of insanity. Yeah. Insane. Yes. Some of the crimes are so heinous, especially those that target children. I agree. I have no problem. These, Yeah, she blamed COVID. Yeah. A GoFundMe has raised more than $1 million. Insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. Yeah, it's happening. It's happening, folks. Here we go. Ohio mom charged with the murder of her daughters buried in suitcases. Pleads not guilty. Competency evaluation ordered. Yeah, suicidal empathy is a real thing. It really is. Huh. An Ohio mother's been charged with the murder of her 2 young daughters that were found buried in suitcases in Cleveland. Ayaya Henderson was charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder and the deaths of her 2 young daughters. They were found partially buried in suitcases near Ginn Academy in Ohio. After responding, officers found shallow graves. The young girls had been shoved and buried in suitcases. The father, Deshaun Chapman, said he had been pursuing custody of his daughter for 5 years. What was that? Why did my phone do that? Mila was happy-go-lucky, always smiling. Her favorite color was pink. She swore that she was a princess. She was always happy she was a kid's kid. The Cuyahoga County medical examiner is still examining how the 2 girls were killed. Since the killings, Henderson has been ordered by a judge to undergo a competency evaluation. Andrea Yates, the OJ of taking out her children in 2001. Yeah. The OG. She was always on literally insane amount of drugs, but apparently she didn't like taking them. Yeah. Jim, women can get away with killing their kids more times than any man ever would. Yeah. Temporary, just long enough for the trial. Weird. Yeah, it's crazy how that happens, right? In Iran, dads get the kids. Well, I have to say kudos to Iran. Statistics are 200 children a year are killed by mothers. That's 2 per week. Nobody hears about it. Yeah. Well, it's a lot more than that if you count abortions. Hundreds of thousands a year in abortions. Sometimes you just piss me off. Who, me? I'm pissing you off? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. The current culture is making killing children to the same negligence as not putting away the shopping cart in the parking lot. It's bad. It really is. So she's going to undergo a competency evaluation. She'll have a 20-day inpatient competency evaluation at behavioral health care as part, as soon as there's a bed ready for her. Crazy. Crazy times. Do, 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 do. Oh. Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. Yeah, so here, this is what we're going through right now. You got war, famine, pestilence, and death, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Hey, who are you?" And he's like, "I'm liberal white women." Jeebus, Jim, if people don't like your content, they can take the short bus out of here. Hey, what's up, Snorm? Good to see you. No, Jim, as stated by a psycho. Oh, the psycho. Okay. Massachusetts legalized abortion at birth. Human life has no value. Yeah. There's talk about them excommunicating the mayor, the governor there, Maura Healey, and there's quite a few I'd like to repeal. The 19th, the 17th, and I'll just stop there before I get in trouble. Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's get to this next story. Federal judge blasts Rubio's 75 country visa freeze as Orwellian and strikes down a policy. 13th, 14th. Wait, what are we talking about? Our short bus is really a helicopter. Yes, it is. Free rides for all. I'd be happy with them just repealing the 16th and 17th. That's right. Yes. Please like, follow, subscribe, share, come along, give a donation at Cash App, PayPal, Coffee, Ko-Fi, or Super Tips. Yes. Just jumped in and the chat is on fire. Well, thanks for being here, Ken. The judge can bite Rubio's taint. Yeah, I hope so. So Judge Jeanette Vargas directed the government to revisit cases in which applicants were denied under the 75-country freeze. Nobody's entitled to a visa. This is insane that this judge thinks she has the authority to do this, which is strictly in the authority of the executive branch and the Secretary of State. By statute, she has no authority to do this judge. Well, so let's see. Here, I got a quick Supreme Court backs Trump immigration reform agenda.
So the Supreme Court today handed President Trump 2 immigration-related wins. The first tackles his decision to end temporary protected status for more than 1 million migrants currently in the U.S. The second handles a policy used to turn back asylum seekers who show up at the U.S.-Mexico border.
This is wrong, this is cruel, and this is un-American.
Hundreds of thousands of Haitian and Syrian immigrants now in the U.S. could soon be facing deportation after 2 big wins at the U.S. Supreme Court for the president on an issue that voters said they trusted him to handle: immigration and the border. In a 6-3 opinion, the court held that the administration has the discretion to end temporary protected status, or TPS, for immigrants who have legal status allowing them to be in the U.S. as a result of their home countries being deemed unsafe due to conditions like a natural disaster or war. The relevant statute reads, quote, "There is no judicial review of any determination of the DHS secretary with respect to the designation or termination of extension of a designation." The court adding, quote, "The text is clear."
It's a dramatic win for the Trump administration, for common sense, for America first, and the like.
But the dissenters, led by Justice Kagan, argued that those who are losing TPS status should not be consigned to what she called devastating and indeed life-threatening injury. In a second 6-3 win for the administration, the court held that someone seeking entry to the U.S. without proper legal status is not deemed to have arrived in the U.S. when standing across the border in Mexico. Justice Alito, writing for the majority, quote, "The law neither entitles such an alien to apply for asylum nor requires an immigration officer to inspect him." In a fiery, lengthy dissent, Justice Sotomayor, joined by Justices Kagan and Jackson, wrote, quote, "More people will turn back and be subjected to violence."
It's a violent fucking world. It's not our problem. We're not responsible for the whole fucking world. We're responsible for the United States, and we need to keep Americans safe. We need to keep our kids safe. We need to keep you women, you women safe. We know how to protect the women folk. So we got to keep these people out. They might hurt you. They'll subject you to violence.
The justices also gave gun rights advocates a big win, finding a Hawaii law limiting the rights of concealed carry permit holders on private property violates the Second Amendment.
Oh,
We will
yeah,
get
no shit.
opinions again, 10 a.m. Eastern on Monday.
A federal judge struck down the Trump administration's freeze on immigrant visas from 75 countries, saying Rubio lacked the legal authority to order denials for applicants that otherwise found eligible to enter the U.S. Yeah, this is not going to fly. That this judge can't do this. Maybe they won't come here in the first place. That would be great. Hey, Lurch Linger, what's up? Thanks for the gifted membership. With that means we're now 74 away from a first hour and 24 away from Bellavision. Let's see who got that membership. It says that Morning Doom is now a member of the JimSomniacs, thanks to Lurch Linger. Thank you so much. Yes. If we finished the wall with corpses, they'd stop coming quick. Yeah, go to Europe. They seem to like this more than us. Yeah, go to Europe. That's what. Sodomite idiot is such a breath of fresh manure. Yes. So Judge Jeanette Vargas, a Biden appointee in Manhattan, vacated the State Department policy and any visa refusal based on it, directing the government to revisit those cases. She can't do this. She does not have this authority. She does not have this authority to order around the executive branch like they're fucking clerks, because they're not. And she does not have this authority. Jim, why are you so racist? Don't you know that every person in the world has the right to come here? Ask that judge. She'll tell you. This judge doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about. This is ridiculous. So the court holds the policy is contrary to the law and was issued in excess of the Secretary Rubio's statutory authority. Your order is in excess of your statutory authority. The State Department enacted the policy in January, suspending immigrant visa issuance to 75 countries they deemed high risk of becoming dependent on public benefits. So Rubio's policy instructed consular officers to review each application individually, but even applicants who passed the review showed additional evidence that demonstrates he or she overcomes the public charge refusal and had other reasons to be denied were still refused visas. I mean, this is like ridiculous. Bill says, how short-sighted of AH to invade Poland when the Wehrmacht and not 2 million German citizens to vote Germany Danzig in 20 years. Yeah, I mean. You love it when Jim gets feisty. I just get mad. You know, the policy permits consular officers to exercise their normal functions up to a point. But that overcome is predetermined. The visa will be refused. The judge said it effectively imposed a nationality-based ban on immigrants. It's not a nationality-based ban. On the world, 40% of the world's countries and sideline consular offices. Like, the policy displaces consular officers from the role Congress assigned them. Who do they work for? They're in the executive branch. In addition to other defense, they're still part of the executive branch. They're not part of Congress. Secretary Rubio's cable directing officers that they must refuse immigrant visas to nationals of certain countries cannot be reconciled with Congress's express limitation on his authority as Secretary of State. No, he has the authority to do this. That's the thing. He has the authority to do this. So the Trump administration argued the refusals were lawful because officers formally issued them under Section 221G of the Immigration and Nationality Act, an existing provision governing visa refusals. Vargas rejected the rationale, saying the government had failed to identify a law allowing any officer to deny a visa to an applicant already found eligible. What? She found the policy violated the bar on nationality-based discrimination. She also rejected the administration's argument that the policy preserved consular officers' authority because they still entered the denials themselves. So, yeah, we shall see. Jim, continue to tell the truth that others will not see. Okay. Soros judges have bastardized the immigration system, hurting actual asylum. They have. Yeah, they have. I mean, if they just ruled fairly, things would be a lot better for everybody. They really would. They really would. And of course, it was a Biden appointed judge blocks Trump's immigration policy. It's always a Biden appointed judge. Always a Biden appointed judge. Always. It's always a Biden appointed judge. So basically, yeah. She said Rubio exceeded his authority. No, Rubio has the right to revoke any visa. Like, whatever. Just say, no, you're coming here is not in the interest of our country. Nationality discrimination. Yeah, nationality discrimination. So, like, when we say nobody can come in from this country, that's a nationality discrimination. She's trying to say you can't do that. Bullshit. Hey, Jason, what's up? Good evening. Hope you're having a great weekend. What's your favorite thing to get at Chipotle? I don't really like Chipotle. They put too many beans in them. Dim definitely tells the truth. I try. I try to tell the truth. I mean, I try to be as honest as possible. I don't, I give my opinions. I'll tell you it's my opinion. I thought the State Department ruled, the SCOTUS ruled the State Department could deny. He says, they did. This judge don't care. DEI was infinity under Biden. Yeah, it was. That's Obama Biden. The complaint is that the DOJ the Department of State can't do blanket rejections. It has to be individual. They did do it individually. They individually really want to go, nope, sorry, you can't overcome this. Nope, you can't overcome this. If you can't prove you're not going to be a public charge, you can't come. The inferior judge needs to look at the first law, first to policy, second to third opinion. Yeah, it's just, the problem is, for too long, the whole public believes that every judge, every lower court inferior judge is part of the co-equal branch, and they're not. There is one Supreme Court. That's the co-equal branch. All these other judges are subservient to Congress. Congress sets forth what they're created, a creature of statute. They're created by statute. So they are not co-equal to anybody. As Ben Crump would say, Jim tells the truth. So this judge is saying the Secretary of State doesn't have the authority to make policy in the State Department. That's what the judge is saying. She does. That she's telling these people, we want these people. You can't tell these people they can't come. Del Taco has the best refried beans, in my honest opinion. I love Del Taco. Del Taco's bean burritos are the best. Way better than Taco Bell. Way better than Taco Bell. Hey, Better Man. Better Man. Better Man. Hit the like button. That's right. All right. So, Casey Musgraves sings atop a giant disco balls during cheeky tour performance. I don't know. She's having a ball on her middle of nowhere tour. The singer and her fans' disbelief when she unveiled an X-rated pop Friday as she kicked off her tour bus. Oh, wait, no, those are balls. That's not like disco ball. That's disco balls, like somebody's balls. I thought it was like, this is why this is a story. Taco Casa in Texas, man, I miss that place. Never been there. We need T-shirts. Ben Crump jumps out of a C-130 with a parachute, gets to the race cases faster. Yeah. Well, thanks for the treat. Risque tour prop. She's sitting on balls. Well, the balls, that's some balls there. She had fun with the moment, posting a clip on her Instagram. It takes a lot of balls to get up and do what I do every night, she says. It takes two gigantic, anatomically correct, sparkling balls, in fact. She also shared her grandmother was at the performance. I got my Nana in the house. She always told me, honey, if you're going to do something, do it big and sparkly. Wow. Well, where's our Bella girl? We don't, we're still short on the Bellavision. I mean, she's here, but we're still $24 short on Bellavision. We didn't even come close to the extra hour, and we definitely didn't come close to getting the call-in show. CNN admitted again with another article saying Iran's control on oil flows is slipping away. Well, good. That's good. Yeah. Why are people so gross? Worse than truck testicles. Yeah, I never understood that truck testicle thing. So, Musgraves turned 38 on Friday. She poked fun at her age, saying that she's a geriatric millennial. She also reposted a sweet birthday message for Reese Witherspoon reading, "Happy birthday to my mystical, lyrical space cowgirl." The Rainbow Singers Tour Runs until February 26th. Pandemic killed your favorite burrito place. We need t-shirts. I know because Jim told me. Oh, I don't know. That's like, I'll look into some merch, I guess. I just never really got into creating the merch. It's so much work. It really is, trying to create the merch and stuff. And why is there so much resistance even from the right on the ballroom? I don't know. I think it's just haters going to hate. This is some great news. Fentanyl deaths plummet in the wake of the Trump administration crackdown. This is great news. I think it's great news. Personally, me, I think it's great news. What do you guys think? You think it's great news? I do. New data cited by the White House revealed that fentanyl-related deaths have dropped 20% in 1 year. As the Trump administration continues its crackdown on drug cartels. Yeah, CNN, Trump deprives small business fentanyl pushers of income. Yeah, that's what they'll say. That's what they'll say. That is what they'll say. That is what they will say. An exclusive report published Friday by Fox said that fentanyl-linked deaths were down 22%. These figures were shared with Fox Digital to honor National Fentanyl Prevention and Awareness Day. Guessing commie states not affected, still 3 ambulance visits per week to the shelter across the street. Oh, that's brutal. Synthetic opioid deaths, which include fentanyl, fell from 48,913 in 2024 to 38,000 in 2025. Yes. How dare Trump take away the junkies' candy? In addition, the White House highlighted a 45% drop in nationwide fentanyl seizures. Hey, look at this. We got a 20 from Ken Krause. Wow, thank you so much. That will get Bella activated for the evening. Why not? That will take us now to just 54 away from adding a first additional hour. Thank you so much, Ken Krause, for activating Bellavision. Oh, and then look at it. Snorum comes in with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Snorum. Oh, wait. That puts us now at just $24 away, right? Yeah, 5 times 6 is 30. So 24 away from adding a first additional hour to the show. Thank you so much, Snorum. And let's see who got the 5. It says that Mama Pillow became a member of Jim Somniacs thanks to Snorum. So did Snorum receive the membership from Snorum. Marshall Beaupre. What's up, Marshall? Tarks 9351, unhyphenated. All received memberships from Snorum. Or from Snorum. Yes, all received memberships from Snorum. What am I doing? My brain is not working right. So thank you so much to everybody. And thank you to Snorum for the 5 memberships and to Ken for the 20. That means right there, we're only 24 away. 24 away from adding a first additional hour. Do you think that Cardboard Supreme Leader watches Tucker Carlson? Probably. You're finally in the Cool Kids Club. That's right. Congratulations to all the gift recipients. It's always nice. It's always nice. Thank you for the membership, Snorum. Greatly appreciate it. Yes.
The largest fentanyl seizure in state history.
The largest fentanyl bust in state history.
More than 1.6 tons of fentanyl off.
I don't know. They're going to put this music in here. It's going to make me have to mute it anyway.
And under Director Kash Patel, the FBI isn't waiting for it to get there. They're going after the whole supply chain. The chemical suppliers in China.
Chinese precursors.
The cartels moving it across borders. The poison pill factories. The darknet dealers shipping it. The street thugs selling it. And the dirty money financing it all.
If you're trafficking this poison, we will find you.
They've built the infrastructure to fight it at every level.
President Trump has shut off the pipeline that creates fentanyl.
A new counter-cartel coordination center brings intelligence and law enforcement resources together against the cartel.
Stop fentanyl precursors.
Across the country, 59 Homeland Security task forces staffed by more than 9,000 agents, officers, and analysts are taking the fight nationwide
to crush the plague of fentanyl.
And bureau-wide, the results are piling up. More than 3,200 kilograms of fentanyl wiped off the map. That's over 247 million lethal doses, almost 10% higher than the last 18 months of the Biden administration. More than 200 million in assets confiscated, thousands of arrests, and thousands of weapons seized. From the chemicals, to the cartel, to the dealer, to the dollar, the strategy's changed. The FBI doesn't just catch the fentanyl, they destroy the entire network from top to bottom.
That's right. They get them. Get them. So President Trump promised to dismantle the drug cartels. Has been a pillar of his second term. Plan de Aragua, MS-13, Mertrufa, Sinaloa, and other foreign and terrorist organizations. Don't push me because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how to keep from going under. So, illicit fentanyl is closer to a chemical weapon than a narcotic. 2 milligrams, an almost undetectable trace amounts equivalent to 10 or 15 grains of table salt, constitute a lethal dose. How much did George Floyd take? That was the song in the video. No, I know the song. Production and sale of fentanyl was by a terrorist organization. The cartels fund these entities. Commander-in-Chief signed the Halt Fentanyl Act, permanently classifying fentanyl-related substances as Schedule 1 under the Controlled Substances Act. He's also taken aggressive action against drug boats by authorizing drone strikes against them in order to deter others from trafficking drogas into the U.S. And he captured communist Venezuelan President strongman Nicolas Maduro. Maduro is facing drug-related charges of narco-terrorism with a trial set for 2027. Film at 11. They're still trafficking it. That's right. Tucker moved his house into Qatar, probably. It's the message man, Fab Five Freddy. You know Grandmaster Flash, yeah. I know the Sugar Hill Gang, too. Rapper's Delight and all that stuff. I just say no to drugs. That's right. Great. That's a great line from a movie, Colors. It was actually Damon Wayans playing T-Bone, I think his name was. T-Bone, right? And he goes, I just say no to drugs. Fentanyl deaths plunged 22%. So here's Trump talking about it.
Why is it you think that nobody is talking about the fentanyl deaths? The fentanyl deaths have come way down since the border has closed. It should be one of those prime topics because we have saved tens of thousands of lives in a short period. You look at the numbers from just a couple of years ago, they have come down dramatically. It doesn't seem to be a topic.
68%. I'll tell you what, by sea, by ocean, 97.2%. 97%.
He knows the movie.
Now, you've seen the pictures of the boats, and it's all horrible. But when you think that each time you knock out a boat, you're saving 10,000 people, more than that, probably. They say 25,000. You know, they're carrying massive amounts of fentanyl. And that's an occupation that's very hard to fill right now. Nobody does it. Nobody would have done what I did. But we are down over 97% in drugs coming in by sea. And now we've started a very heavy push for drugs coming in by land, which is actually comes through Mexico, which is actually much easier. The land is, the sea is the hardest, but we have a solution to that. Basically they can't do it anymore. They don't get away with it. We know every boat that's coming in. We know who it is and what's on that boat. And it's largely fentanyl and other really bad drugs. So we're down 97%, but we're down the numbers on fentanyl. If you would have said that you were going to do that, nobody would believe it. They say it's just a politician talking. Much higher than anybody ever thought was even possible. People thought if we could get it down 2 or 3%, it would be good. We got it down 67, 68%. Nobody's seen, and that's why your fentanyl numbers.
That's why your fentanyl numbers are down, because Trump is doing what it takes. Trump is doing what it takes to get the numbers down. He's just doing it. He's not taking no for an answer. He's doing what should have been done a long time ago. You can't call it a war on drugs if you aren't willing to actually do something about it. You know, you got to be willing to do something about it. You got to be willing to do something about it. So, you gotta be willing to do something about it. If you don't, what you gonna do? You can't do nothing. So, so fentanyl linked deaths plunged 22%. Cynthia, yeah. So we're just doing a great job. We should airdrop fentanyl to the IRGC. I mean, the problem is that might kill a bunch of people that we don't want to kill innocent people. That's the only problem I can see with that. You don't want to kill innocent people. So got this. Look at this. Sydney Sweeney sizzles in Wonder Woman corset costume as she soaks up the summer romance with Scooter Braun. Who's Scooter Braun? Sweeney's HBO show gets freakier? What's this? Oh, here we go. That's her boyfriend. I mean, she looks good as Wonder Woman. But Wonder Woman wasn't a blonde. She was brunette. That's the problem. So, one video, she balanced on an inflatable water obstacle as Braun rode a jet ski nearby. Oh. Sweeney gave fans a glimpse of them, captioning Camp 26. Sweeney and Braun continue to put the relationship front and center. So, Braun gave fans another glimpse of the relationship during New York date night. Oh, he kind of looks like he could play Clark Kent with the glasses and the hair and everything like that. So I don't know who Scooter Braun is. Is he like part of the Braun Empire, like Braun Coffee and stuff like that? What's my thoughts on the Canada deal collapse? Well, it's going to be Canada's going to be hurting, not us. Canada relies on us a lot more than we rely on them. Mm-hmm. Got this story. Head U.S. Islamic organizations use $140 million in tithes to finance campaigns of Muslims running for office. This is a problem, people. There are no innocent people in Iran. All the ones who still thought for themselves were killed. Braun is a record producer. Okay, Sydney would make a great brunette. I said Fab Five Freddy. You said Grandmaster Flash. I should have known better. Wait, what is this? Wait a minute. Hold on. Where am I at here? Hold on. I screwed something up. Hold on. Blue hair used to be a boomer thing. Now the girls and boys are all dyeing their hair blue. It is crazy. It is crazy. It is crazy. The Fiqh Council of North America recently issued religious rulings of fatwa allowing charitable giving and tithing, known as zakat, to be used for political purposes. Oh, what do you know? The Islamic organizers in the U.S. are tithing money from American Muslims to help finance political campaigns. The Fiqh Council of North America recently issued a religious ruling allowing charitable giving and tithing known to be used for political purposes. But this violates the IRS code. You can't take political religious money given to religious tithings and use it for politics. You're not allowed to do this unless they're just going to basically, then they need, if this is the case, they need to take away the tax exempt status from mosques, I guess. The revelation is part of a broader effort by American Muslims to increase political prominence. Organizers have worked to advance the political war chest of more than 140 million a year in mosque and other donations. Yeah, the IRS might want to know about this. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, Islam should be recognized as a political entity, not a religious one. So I'm saying you can't, donations to political candidates are not tax deductible. Churches are. So concerns have continued to be raised about candidates who have ties to radical Islamic figures, the blind sheikh and others, right? Critics have warned that Muslim political and religious leaders are seeking to expand influence. Muslim elected officials and spiritual leaders back their own funds and foreign money, some tied to officially designated terrorist groups. Many Muslims are assimilating to more traditional values. I don't believe it. It's different when the Muslims do it. Yeah, with a D. It is. It's totally different with a D. I mean, what is going on with this stuff? What is going on with this stuff? I just don't get it. I really don't. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Why are foreigners allowed to be candidates anyway? I don't get it. Islam is a terrorist organization. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I finally caught up live. Took 90 minutes, but I'm finally caught up to the cool kids. Well, you made it just in time. So they're assimilating more. They're building these epic cities, 400 acres of prairie land. They're trying to turn into, They previously featured several controversial clerics, calling it a game changer. Europe has long changed. America is the final stronghold. Oh, they want to take over. They want to destroy everything. So tolerating beachheads of radical Islam in our country is literal suicide. It is. They join these very close groups that are committed to imposing Sharia law. Tolerating that seems utterly insane. It's the truth. Just rename it to epic fail. They should. Well, a shocking number of Democrats now want failed socialist Mayor Katie Wilson, she's a commie, to resign. Yeah, Miss Sixhead, they want her to resign. There was already a recall effort underway to oust the commie mayor, Katie Wilson. She's losing support from members of her own city council, and Starbucks is preparing to ship a huge number of jobs to a red state. Just about all Muslims are strict Muslims, will never adhere to Western values. That's true. Try new Sharia light with only half the war crimes. Yeah, just over 6 months in office, 53% of Democrat voters are trying to do a recall. Wow, if they got 53%, that's enough to get her out. 53% of Seattle Demon Rats want the commie mayor to resign. 2 separate polls released show Seattle voters souring dramatically on the communist mayor. New Change poll conducted found 22% of Seattle registered voters approve of her job performance, 66% disapprove. The findings reinforced a separate poll conducted that said that her favorability fell to 37%. They should have to live with this snowflake full term. They voted for this moron with no experience, no work record, living off mommy and daddy, and now want a recall? They should have to suffer. Suffer, commies, suffer. Suffer, commies, suffer. Well, everybody, unfortunately, we did go 2.5 hours. We did not make the goal. So it sounds like that's going to be it for this evening. So I want to thank everybody who is here. Please remind you to hit the like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And come back tomorrow, Sunday night, for Jim to tell you the news.